Alright, so what we're going to do is, instead of having my extension cord running all the way over here to power my freezer right here, I'm going to actually run an electrical outlet back here. So I'll show you exactly how I do it. Best practices. I am not a licensed electrician. I'm just a licensed contractor, but I do have common sense. So I'm not responsible for you electrocuting yourself, but it's kind of hard if you take the proper steps to do that. So let's get in it. I'm gonna tear all this stuff out, get behind there, and we will show you the tools needed and materials and how everything comes together. All right, tools you're gonna need for this job. You're gonna need an impact, tape, 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch drill bit. You're drilling through the top plate, drywall saw or an oscillating tool, wire strippers, diagonal cutters, a torpedo level, tape measure, fathead. Either you want to call these you can strippers, whatever you want to, but these are my south wire flatheads. These are for twisting wires together. You're gonna need yourself a tamper resistant plug or GFCI, whatever's in your code in your area. Either cable staples or a cable stapler. You're gonna need a I got 2 of them here apparently, but you only need 1. Screwdriver, something to test, non-contact voltage testing, and obviously an outlet tester depending on what you're doing. Gonna need some gloves. You're gonna need some Romex, obviously 12-2, 14-2, whatever in your house, whatever, you keep it the same gauge. Glow rods for fishing the Romex. Lights, you're gonna be turning the breakers off, so you're gonna need light. So that's basically the gist of this. This is what you're gonna need for this job. So if somebody wants you to do this work for, $40, tell them no. Not only is it you're liable, you also need some tools to do the job. All right, so we got everything moved out of the way. I did my measurements. So you're gonna go to your local hardware store. In my case, I'm just gonna go to my trailer. Not that one. That one works. We'll be back here. But so you mark it. This is the garage, obviously. So I got foundation there, so I'm marking it so I can actually use it for anything up here. So it's gonna be 38 inches to the top. So I marked it there. If you got a mark here, all you got to do is basically set your box just like that. Sorry for the shadow, but and then you level it and mark it on the outside. Make sure it's vertical, straight up and down with a little torpedo level, and mark it so you can use your drywall saw or an oscillating tool and saw it right out. Let's take care of it. Since it's an exterior wall, it's going to be insulation. I do want to say, if you're cutting it, make sure you cut on the top edge, just in case your stud finder missed and you actually have a stud here. That way you can go left or right, whichever way you need to. So you don't have any drywall repair. So there's that. See that? That's why we don't use a hacksaw. Good. All right. All right, guys and girls, this is about as easy of a outlet, wiring an outlet as you can get. I've got a box right there. I mean, I've got a light right there too, but a box right there, and you guys can see there. Wait, there you go. So that's where I'm going. So this is about as easy as you're gonna get. So if you don't have anything like this, you're gonna have to come off another electrical outlet, or cut and put a box in wherever you need to, in basement, ceiling, something like that. You're gonna have to run it off something and make sure, obviously, the circuit you're running it off of has enough amperage to, to warrant whatever you're trying to hook up to it. So, yeah. So what we're gonna do, basically, since my electrical outlet is straight down there, we're just gonna follow it straight up. Dig out this little insulation here. There we go. And we'll be doing some drilling right here and going straight down with the fishing rod. Get yourself your drill or impact in my case. Let's get up here. All right, you got your top plate right here. That's gonna be the wall itself. You can verify it by the actual wall being, so this is why it's so easy. This one's so easy. So we're going straight down. I'm just gonna line it up with my hole. I can see it way down there. So we're gonna go right in the center. And if you're not quite sure where, what I do is if you're not quite sure, I go down a little bit. I come up and I just check to see if the top of the drill bit has caught any white, which would mean it's, you know, which would mean kind of like, I don't know if you guys going to show up or not, but you can see how it's white. So that means it's going into drywall, which could mean that you're actually not on the wall, you're on the actual ceiling. So you don't want to drill through the ceiling and have to do a ceiling repair. So I will say 3/4 inch. We're doing 12-2 Romex, so 3/4 inch bit at a minimum, depending on what code stands for in your area. But yeah, just keep that in mind. There we go. We're all the way through. You can see. All right. Now let's go down. This has got obviously insulation because it's an exterior wall. My garage is not heated or cooled. So it's a bread maker, by the way. Got the Romex. Some go up with the glow rod. Just like this. I try to get to the wall closest to me and just hug that wall. Bring it straight down. Go. We're gonna go down there and see if we can find it. All right, see if you can see. There's your glow rod right there. So we just basically yank it through and then fish the Romex all the way through. And that'll be that. We're just gonna yank it through. Create some slack. There we go. Go. Voila. Cut it off and then we'll wire the outlet and turn the power off and wire in the box and we'll be done. All right, guys and girls, just a quick tip here. When you're doing your Romex, I use my knife. Then you straight up cut it. But then from there, I'm actually gonna pull it back even more, just like that, and then cut it off, because when you're using the knife, sometimes you can cut into the actual casing of the wire, which is obviously a no-no, especially when you go live with it. So you pull it back and then you can cut it off. That way, you know, same thing with low voltage work. So you just don't want to you want to minimize any kind of risks. So you're yanking back the sheathing and then cutting it where you need to. That way, you know, there's no breaks or anything in here. So just a quick tip right there. All right, now let's get a GFCI here. That'll work. All right, so we got the box in. Just a couple of quick notes. Pretty simple. You put the Romex into the back. You do not cut those clips off because it creates, I don't know if you can see it right there. Creates an edge. You can see right there. You don't want to cut it off because just in case, you know, you don't want to cut the sheathing with the plastic anyway. So push it on. This type right here is not the nail into the stud type. It has the two tabs and it actually secures itself against the actual drywall on the top and the bottom. So that's basically what we're going to do next. Is we've got it done flush. Make sure it's level. Take your level. Make sure it's good to go. And then you can feel it get tight. You don't want to strip them out. There you go. All right, let's get into wiring this baby up. All right, with outlets, this is a GFCI, but just letting you guys know, right, if you're looking at it, the right side is going to be the hot. It's also copper, and it'll probably say hot somewhere on it, right there. And then on your left side is going to be your neutral, which is the silver, and it'll say neutral or white, depending on where you're at. And then on the bottom is going to be the green. Green is always universal for ground, so just keep that in mind. This is a GFCI, so you're gonna have reset and test on here, but pretty much all outlets are going to be the same. And the bottom ones are taped off because obviously you're not going to need it with this outlet here. So let's get right into it. All right, with the wire strippers, you're going to take off about either, I'd say a little over 1/2 inch, 5/8, whatever you're comfortable with. Strip it out, and obviously the neutral as well. And then you're going to be, so you guys can see this, obviously righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so you're going to wrap it around the same way you're tightening the screw. So for this one, it's going to be just like this. So just like that. I just got to loosen it up a little bit, and then we can get it in there. Just like that. Then tighten it down. And I can actually make it a little tighter circle, little curve. There we go. Kind of want it to snap in there. There we go. Screw it down. Good to go. So obviously the neutral is going to tighten this way, so it's going to go over. So we're going to go twist it like that. Tighten these. There you go. Keep tension on it. And then same thing. You're going clockwise when you're screwing it, so going around with the right side. Just like so. There you go. And we have, on my outlets, I always put tape around them. You do you, depending on what your local code says. It might dictate yes or no. There we go. Get the burrs out, and we can get it in. Line them up. Want you make sure you don't crush any wires, but it's got your, there it is. Always want to check, make sure. Yeah, pretty good. And you put your plate on top of it, and you're done right here. We're gonna go up and then turn the power off. But you should already turn, if you're doing this work, just have the circuit off already. But I'm gonna go turn the power off. We'll get up there and then wire it into the box, and we'll be all done here. All right, so we got the faceplate off. Now, I got the breaker off, and I double checked it. I obviously non-contact voltage tester, and the actual light that it's powering off, or that it's powering, is off. So, we're pretty good. So make sure you know what you're doing with the electrical part. Don't shock yourself. It's not the end of the world, but it doesn't feel good. This is only 110 anyway. So all we're gonna be doing is running your Romex straight up and then into the box, and then we're gonna wire nut them. I got some, you're gonna need some larger wire nuts because we're gonna have 4 wires up there. 12 gauge, all that good stuff. So that's basically it. So let's get to it. This is gas. This is not my work, but it's gas. I was here before I was here. Again, strip it back. A little more. There we go. Go about an inch. We're twisting these together. Oh, I forgot my fat head. All right, got a little fatter on the head. That way I can twist these together a lot easier. Just usually start with my hand, my finger, and then just keep going. There we go. Cut at an angle. Get your wire nut on there. Go. Let's get the slack out of here. Go. You don't want any bare wire showing below the nut itself. Ground, obviously. In some places it's not required, but I always wire nut the ground as well. That is it, folks. Make sure you got your enough slack in the back per NEC. We're gonna put the plate on and go turn on the breaker and test it out. So if you're flipping it over and it immediately trips, obviously turn it back off, and you made a mistake. Find out what it is and fix it. All right, I don't know if you can hear it, but she's running. We are all done here. That's your simple electrical outlet. Now, depending on what it is, you're gonna definitely want to probably put a tamper resistant plug in per code. Follow your NEC, your local codes for all this stuff, and then obviously GFCI if it's required. Like and subscribe, you guys. I'll see you on the next video. I appreciate it. I'll leave a link in the description for all the tools I used. Appreciate it. All right, guys, almost forgot. My job minimum was $249, so this would fall into that. But if I was doing it along with other work, my minimum for any electrical outlet would be $110, just because, it's liability, so you got to get paid for it. And I mean, if I'm literally moving attaching, making a second single gang outlet just right above another one, $110 all day long. More than that, obviously, if you're running it across the house, across the basement, doing a bunch of other work, fishing 3 levels, it goes, it can go into the 4 digits, easily. So keeping that in mind. So just letting you know, that's what we charge. Got to pay for your time, it's got to be worth the liability as well. So like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.